Hey everyone, it's Tom Zeeb with Traction Real Estate Investors Association. Super happy to be here and introducing you to someone very special we've never had at Traction Real before. It's Tony Youngs, and I can see that Tony is on the line. Hey Tony.
How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for being here and thanks for coming out next week.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, likewise. So tell me and tell everyone out there, what are you going to be teaching and why is it important and why should everyone be there?
Well, Tom, I'm going to be teaching a topic called the hidden market. You know, we have investors that have real estate agents that bring deals to them, and then they say we have multiple offers. You're going to have to be at or above asking price. There's big demand right now because real estate is doing so well. We have investors that go to auctions and try to bid against other investors, and I believe they end up paying too much for property. So I have a system called the hidden market that I've been doing for 20 years plus, and it's where you find houses that have no for sale signs, and nobody even knows these homes can be bought. So this hidden market out in your area, you can find these distressed properties, and the owner doesn't even know his house is for sale, but you contact them to see if they're interested in selling. And I am getting some fantastic deals because I'm the only one talking to those sellers.
All right. So, because I know a lot of people get concerned, they say, "Oh, Tom, everybody else is out there doing this. Everybody's marketing. Everyone's learning. Everyone's training." And I usually say, no. A lot of people think they want to, but they don't actually take the action to do it. But you're taking this one step further and saying, not only are you the only one taking any action, you're taking action. You're fishing in the lake where no one else is fishing. So there's lots.
That's true. There's fishing holes that you can find the fish, and nobody knows about it.
Fantastic. So the hidden market, what's been your experience like? What's your number one, what's the number one type of motivated seller that you're finding in the hidden market?
Well, I'm finding people who need or want to sell, but their house is in poor condition, or they have too much clutter and 2 years of junk has compiled, and they want or need to sell, but they think they have to clean it up or fix it up to put it on the market. So we contact them before they get around to doing that. And they're so amazed to find that we would buy the house as is in the condition that it's in. And, you know, we live in a world today where there's big money investors, there's hedge funds, there's just people with tons of money. They know real estate is good, so they're doing all this marketing and trying to get all the deals. And those big money people cannot steal the hidden market from us, because it's a matter of going out in those areas and finding the deals and contacting these owners of distressed properties. They have no for sale sign, so everybody else thinks they're not for sale. But if you contact the owner, you'll find their situation. Maybe they have a loss of job, a layoff, a loss of a loved one, maybe they're close to bankruptcy, things like that. And so when we contact them, we suddenly find that they may be interested in selling. Tom, I got to tell you, just before I got on this call, I was over at a house I just bought December 21st from a daughter whose father had died and left the property. She lived out of state, and when she saw how the condition of the property, she thought, how am I ever going to fix this up and sell it? I don't have the money. I don't have the time. And then I contacted her and said I would buy it. And I got the house for for $106,000. The after repair value is $300,000, but it only needs about $60,000 in work. Now, Tom, there's no way you can get houses that cheap if other people knew about it. And also, there's another one I bought in July that I bought it for $20,000. And it was all because I thought the house was vacant. I asked the neighbor if anybody lived there. They said, "Oh yeah, they live there. They're we've been turning them into the code enforcement because they're so disgusting. The house is disgusting inside, and we feel there's rats and rodents." And so I kept knocking on the door until I found the guy at home. And he was saying that he was going to walk away and let the code enforcement condemn the place. So I bought this house for $20,000 from that guy, and he felt he was ripping me off. And so I fixed it up, and I sold it for $200,000 in 2 days. It was on the market 2 days, and that was above the neighborhood comps.
Fantastic deal. And that's exactly what you're going to show all of us how to do, how to find them, where to look, what it is, how to talk to the people.
Yes. And definitely how to talk to them. And because that's the key. A lot of people see houses like this in their neighborhoods, but they don't know really how to approach the people. They almost feel like they're doing something wrong by contacting someone and saying, "Hey, would you be interested in selling that house?" I just simply say, "I'm looking to buy a house in the neighborhood. Would you be interested in selling yours?"
That's simple. And people like that because it's honest and it's straightforward and there's no games.
Yes.
Is this still, Tony, appropriate for 2019? I mean, we're in 2019 now. Some people say, "Oh, that doesn't work anymore." I hear that all the time. People think everything doesn't work anymore just because it's a new year. So is this appropriate for 2019?
I feel it's the wave of the future. I think it's the only thing that works, Tom. I've been investing in real estate for 30 years, and this is where the world has brought me to this point, because I'm finding that that's the only way I can seem to find deals that you can make profit on. There's so much competition, and everybody wants to buy real estate right now because it's doing well. So you're competing against so many people that a seller has many people that want to buy their homes. And that's why we have to find these homes with no for sale signs and approach the owners. And so, like I say, we're making money because of life happens. That's a term I use called life happens. There's thousands of people out there in neighborhoods who are loss of job, loss of loved one, loss of income, getting too old and having to move into an old folks home or whatever. So that's what's called life happens. Yeah. Oh, people going through divorce. You see, when you see if you're in a nice neighborhood and everybody has pride of ownership, there's always one house on the street that appears not to have pride of ownership, and that's who I contact.
Gotcha.
Because I assume there must be something going on in their life because they're not taking care of the house. So, and I hit a bingo.
That's all we're after. So you hit that bingo now. How did you get started, Tony? What's your background? What's your history?
Well, I started in November of 1986. I attended a free 2-day seminar, and it was a TV guru who was putting it on, and he had like 10 speakers teaching different topics that weekend. So I bought the TV guru's home study system. And I must have been...
that stuff doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, see, I must have been too naive to believe it wouldn't work. Sometimes people, they're so smart and intelligent, they always look for reasons why it won't work. So it's just like I bought that system and I went home to my mom and dad and my brothers and sisters, and I said, "I'm going to invest in real estate." I was pumped. And they were saying, "Oh, that stuff doesn't work. You got ripped off. That guy's just selling books and tapes." But I believed it was going to work. So I applied it. And by gosh, it worked. In 3 weeks, I had discovered my first deal, and it was a house I thought was vacant. And I was looking in the windows, snooping around the house because I thought it was vacant. And then I looked in a window, and some lady was staring back at me going, what are you doing in my backyard? So I explained that I thought the house was vacant. I knocked on her door. I said, I thought the house was vacant. I didn't know anybody lived here. She said, well, it is for sale. So she said, when would you like to, come look at the house? I said, how about right now? And she walked me through the house and asked me how much I would give her. I had no money. I didn't know what I was doing. So I made a super low offer just because I knew she would turn me down. And that way I could go home and study the books and tapes. So I made a real low offer because I knew I didn't have the money. And a day or two later, she called me and said, we'll take your offer. And that's how I got my first deal.
There we go.
And Tom, I was working at Lockheed at the time as an aircraft mechanic, and I fixed up that house and refinanced it, and I got a check for the exact amount of what I was making at Lockheed for a whole year. And I still got to keep the house. So I refinanced and pulled out an equity check, and it was for the same amount of money I was making every year. So I made a year's wages on my first deal.
I bet that job didn't last too long.
My dad kept saying, "Oh, that's beginner's luck." He goes, "Don't quit your job." Well, what happened is I kept getting every month. I got another deal. And so on the fifth deal, I went ahead and quit my job. As a matter of fact, I didn't quit. I just quit showing up at my job. And they called me and said, "Hey, did someone die in your family? You haven't been to work in 12 days. I said, "I forgot." I was so busy working on these houses, I kept playing hooky from work, and then I went ahead and resigned. And I've never looked back, Tom. It's been the greatest life and the greatest business. And I'm so glad that I had quit because that gave me more time to find more deals. And that's what I'm going to be teaching on Saturday is every kind of way to find these hidden market properties. And there's absolutely no competition. And I'm going to be showing you how you don't need a dime to do it, because if you are good at finding deals, everybody who has money wants to partner with you, or they want to back you, or they want to buy those deals from you as is.
So it's super easy and doesn't need a giant marketing budget.
That's right. You don't need a big marketing budget like some of these big companies do, because we are talking to people that nobody else is pursuing their house. And that's why I think it's the wave of the future, because Tom, these hedge funds and these big money people, they have money to advertise and try to get these people. Even real estate agents are on the radio saying, "We'll give you a guaranteed offer. You don't even have to show your home." But I am beating that competition, because the houses I'm finding and the ones I'm going to teach y'all to find are nobody else is contacting these people.
Oh, fantastic. I'm excited for that, Tony. I think it's going to be, it's a timely topic. It's an important topic because nothing else matters if you don't get your marketing right. You can learn everything else about real estate, but it's not going to matter if you don't initially get those deals. So being able to find those deals, particularly find those deals without a massive cost, is huge. So the two events we have you for at Traction Radio, we have you on Thursday, January 17th at 6 p.m. at the Sheraton Hotel in Tysons Corner, Virginia. And then all day long on Saturday, the 19th, Saturday, January 19th, you're doing your full day session on discovering the hidden market.
Yes. And here's what they're going to learn. I'm going to show them how to find the deals, how to talk to the owners, how to do the research and the due diligence to see if it's a good deal. like perhaps find out if there's any liens on the property that have to be dealt with. And if there is, that's okay because we can discount those. And I'll even on Saturday, I'm even going to show them from the beginning all the way to how much to write the offer for, and I'm going to teach them how to write the offer. And then if they have no money, of course, I'll show them how to get another investor to take their position or to get an investor to put up the money.
Gotcha. So somebody can walk in on Saturday knowing very little on marketing, very little on how to talk to people, and they're going to walk out at the end of the day understanding the hidden market, understanding how to find them, how to talk to people, and how to turn them into deals that are going to pay good money.
That's right. And they'll be so excited by the end of the day, they'll be out the next day looking. And then it'll remind them of houses they've seen, but they didn't know how to approach. And that's what happens after these events. They always say, oh, there's one in my neighborhood, but I don't know what to do. So they're going to walk out so fired up. They're going to be starting the very next day looking for these hidden market properties.
Oh, fantastic. So it's a great way to start the year, a great way to start off 2019 right. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're going to be so pumped up. It's time well spent.
Fantastic. Well, Tony, information on both of your events is at tractionrea.com. That's traction, REIA.com. And you'll have the links individually for your events. We've got you, again, on Thursday the 17th and all day on Saturday the 19th. For Saturday the 19th, if you want to go directly to that page, it's tractionrea.com/Tony, Tony. And you can grab your ticket now. We do have limited seating due to the hotel room space that we're in. So I wouldn't delay. Go ahead and lock in your ticket now.
That's right. I guarantee they're going to be so glad they attended.
Cool. All right. Well, Tony, thanks. I know you've got a lot going on. I've got a lot going on. I'm going to say those links again. We'll get everyone over there, and then we'll see you next week at Traction Rea.
Okay, Tom. Thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure to be here. And we'll see you next week. Couple of weeks, and Happy New Year.
Likewise, Happy New Year. Go to tractionrea.com for more information, and tractionrea.com/Tony, Tony, to grab your ticket for Saturday the 19th, all about the hidden market. Thanks, Tony. We'll see you later.
Okay.